How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here for another good podcast and another warning. Today we're going to talk about the decline of the petrodollar and the emergence of the central bank digital currency, right? So we're going to get to the point where we're going to get to the point where we're going to realize that America is on a decline. And there is nothing that anyone can do about it. This decline has been planned out for a very long time. This is another part of the Agenda 2030, right? So, in order to establish total control, you need to control energy, food, and monetary funds. It's the way you control a population. Okay, so America is not the only place that's aiming for a digital currency. A digital currency eventually is going to be worldwide, right? Which is why you see Trump is over here going into other countries and putting in destroying the country, taking out the leader and putting in who they want as the leader of that country. Because they have who they want as the leader of that country, it's more easier to establish the things they need to establish, like digital currency, a way to surveillance the population, you know. Um, and it's also another way to be able to drain your account whenever they want to. So if you get out of line, they can just take you. They can just take your Cbdc'S anytime they feel like it. Right? It don't matter if you worked hard for it, you sweat, tears, blood for it. Guess what? They can take it. All right, I want to get to this next this video of this guy who basically he's an investor and he's going to tell you what's on the outlook of this collapse of the petrodollar. Let's get to the first video.
What comes next will reshape every wallet, every nation, and every future plan you thought was secure. Today, I want to talk to you about a global shift so historic, so foundational that it deserves the full attention of anyone who hopes to understand the world economy, the end of the petrodollar system. For half a century, the United States enjoyed what economists politely called an exorbitant privilege, but what ordinary people might better describe as a free lunch, a system that allowed America to print money, buy goods, fund wars, and sustain deficits, while the rest of the world had little choice but to accept the dollar as the price of global energy. The global shift away from the US dollar has begun, and it is unfolding far more decisively than many expected. What was once dismissed as symbolic political posturing has now transformed into a coordinated economic movement. The world's largest energy buyers and producers.
See, to me, the dollar died when they took it off the gold standard. That's when the dollar died. When they took the dollar off the gold standard, that killed the dollar. Do you know why they killed the dollar? Because for the simple fact that they backed it by oil. Who has the largest oil reserves? One of the largest oil reserves on earth that we do trade with. Saudi Arabia. Guess what Saudi Arabia is doing? Saudi Arabia is looking into other currencies to trade oil in. Nobody wants to deal with the dollar anymore, which is why they came up with BRICS. Nobody wants to deal with the dollar anymore. Which is why when Trump was on his campaign, guess what he said? He started a what? A central bank digital dollar reserve. That's what he said. Now, you don't have to believe that the dollar is collapsing. You can believe all these economists who want to just keep you docile into thinking everything's gonna be okay. Oh, they're the smartest economists in the world. You don't think that they know where to shift their money? You think they're gonna tell you how to shift your money? These people know how to make money and create money during an economic downturn and during crisis. All these economies across the world are collapsing. Do you know why they're collapsing? Because it's manufactured. Which is why a lot of countries are rushing to get a digital currency. Let's continue with this clip.
Are no longer treating the dollar as an unshakable pillar. Instead, they are treating it as an option, one they feel increasingly comfortable declining. And that marks the beginning of a historic turning point. For decades, the dollar's dominance in global oil trade forced every nation to accumulate and hold U.S. currency as the ticket to accessing energy. But as of today, major economies are breaking from that model. China and Russia conduct most of their energy trade in yuan and rubles. India has purchased oil in rupees. Even traditional U.S. partners in the Middle East, countries that once relied heavily on Washington, are now signing long-term agreements in currencies that bypass the dollar entirely. So this is not a symbolic gesture. It is a structural reconfiguration of global finance. Here's the hook. Once the world realizes it doesn't need dollars for energy, it also realizes it doesn't need to keep funding America's deficits. That single shift rewrites the rules of global economics. The power the U.S. inherited from the petrodollar system wasn't simply about currency. It was about control. It allowed America to shape global markets, influence political decisions, and maintain unmatched financial leverage. But when nations begin settling oil in their own currencies, that influence weakens. The most significant part of this change is its scale. These are not small or isolated economies making small symbolic moves. These are the world's fastest growing markets and largest resource holders. Collectively, they represent a meaningful share of global GDP. Oil.
Let me tell y'all something. America dollar is over with. It's over with. People need to realize that these banks are failing. And if you've seen the news within the last 6 to 7 months, you will see that a lot of these banks are getting money from the government because they don't have any more money to back what the people put in the banks. The dollar is declining faster than people think. The reason the prices are so high is because America do not produce anything anymore. It was a reason why they did that. It was a reason why they sent all of our manufacturing companies over to China. Come on, you guys gotta think about it. You think Trump is gonna bring these? No, none of these companies are coming back. All of that, I'm gonna invest millions and trillions and billions into America. None of them is investing in anything in America. No, nothing. America is not gonna be the same anymore. It's not gonna be the same anymore. This country is going downhill, and it's going downhill fast. So while y'all got y'all money in these banks, one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna see these banks closed. You're gonna go to the ATM. Guess what? It's gonna say no funds available. It's gonna say no funds available. It's gonna cause mayhem. See, they already did an experiment already with Bank of America. They already did the experiment with Bank of America. A lot of people went in and they could not access their money. That was a prerequisite of what's to come. They always experiment on the things they're about to do in the future just to see if it would work. And guess what? A lot of times, 9 times out of 10, it works. It works. Because Americans, they sit here and they think everything's okay. They think everything is hunky-dory. But guess what? You are blinding your own self by not sitting back and looking at what's going on, not just here in America, but globally. Things are moving fast. People are shifting fast. Economies is shifting fast. Currencies is shifting fast. Governments are shifting fast. Governments being overthrown, being replaced. There's civil unrest in almost every country on earth. You don't see it because guess what? They only show you what they want you to see. If they show you that all these civil unrest around the earth, guess what? It will be civil unrest en masse. It's already civil unrest here now. That's just on a small scale. You seeing what's the prerequisite of what's about to happen in the future. In the future, when your money collapse, when you can't access your bank, when you can't access your bank accounts, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go out and you're going to riot or you're going to march, you're going to scream, you're going to be upset that your money is gone. Look what happened in Europe. Look what happened in Europe. Look what's going on now. You think these politicians care about you and your family? They don't care about you. They only care about their pocket. They tell you time and time again that they don't eat neither side, Republican nor Democrat. They don't care about you and your family. They care about lining their pockets until the economy collapses. They already shifted their money into CBDCs. They already did it. But we're going to get to that CBDCs. Let's continue this.
Consumption and energy production, their shift signals that the dollar is no longer seen as neutral or essential. It is seen as optional and in some cases strategically limiting. Another powerful hook appears here. Once a few major nations break the system, others feel emboldened to follow, and that's exactly what is happening. Countries across Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia are exploring alternatives, building payment systems that bypass the dollar and diversifying their foreign reserves. The psychological barrier has been...
Money is shifting. Money is shifting. They know what's coming. It's a global collapse. It's coming. Now it's the race to who has the global CBDC currency. Who's gonna have the world's leading digital currency? Everything's going to digital. Look at everything. Everything is going to digital. Even your money. Your face. Yeah, your biometrics are going digital. They putting homes and apartments on the blockchain to make it digital. Everything's gonna go digital. All right, let's get to the next clip. Now we're gonna go to the horse's mouth. Let's see what the leader of America say about the economy.
That's the country in which we live, however, right now. The U.S. is a mess. That's the country in which we live, however, right now. The U.S. is a mess. Our economy is crashing. Inflation is out of control. Russia has joined with China. Can you believe it? Saudi Arabia has joined with Iran. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition. Would have never happened. I would be president. Would never have happened. Nor would Russia attacking Ukraine have happened. All of those lives would be saved. All of those beautiful cities would be standing. Our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat, frankly, in 200 years. There will be no defeat like that. That will take us away from being even a great power. That's the country in which we live, however, right now. The USA is a mess.
That was your leader of America telling you that our economy is collapsing. It's collapsing. BRICS, which people think that BRICS is going to be the next superpower. BRICS is not going to be the next superpower. Stop listening to propaganda. They're going to be the leading currency just for a short time. And guess what? There's going to be one central currency because it's going to war's going to break out. It's already broken out. But once every country start trading in digital currency, war is going to break out because America will not be the power at that time. It's going to be so bad that all the countries going to come together and agree to a one world digital currency. But that's the goal. That's the goal. A one world digital currency. How else would you be able to track a global population? People thinking small. People thinking small. They think that, okay, America's collapsing. They're not thinking on the grand scale, the global scale. They're not thinking on the grand scale. They need to be thinking it's a global collapse. How is the global economy collapsing? All at once. If you don't believe me, you can go look this up yourself. All currencies across the world are collapsing. And it's all by design. All right, let's get to the next clip. Now let's see where we headed. You know who this is. Vivek Ramaswamy, excuse me for butchering his last name. I'm sorry. But Vivek Ramaswamy. He's going to tell you how he feel about digital currency, about us heading towards a digital currency.
Creates a mechanism for the government to be able to wipe out your bank account.
That's definitely
a central bank digital currency, I believe, is a threat to liberty in this country. because it creates a mechanism for the government to be able to wipe out your bank account or wipe out your dollars if you say or do something that the government disapproves of, as you see in places like China, as you see even happen to the Canadian truckers, the Freedom Envoy, losing access to their financial bank accounts. I think a central bank digital currency takes us further in that direction. Well, I explained that to Donald Trump, and I give him a lot of credit for being intellectually open, getting to the bottom of it. He took advice from a couple of other people who he trusted around him. A few nights later, I saw him mention that. Again, last night when he and I were at that rally together, he came out strongly in favor of what I believe is the right answer, which is to oppose the creation of a central bank digital currency. A central bank digital currency, I believe, is a threat to liberty in this country.
As Vivek Ramaswamy said, they'll be able to wipe out your whole account. Say something about the government. Say something. Go out there and march. I showed you yesterday on the live yesterday what happened in China. All of these systems that I'm talking about that's going to be in place, not just in America, but worldwide, it's already in progress in China. Everything ties in together. When I do a live, each live, they might be talking about a different topic, but they all in the same agenda, Agenda 2030. He said that Trump agreed with him, but then Trump created a digital currency reserve. Make that make sense? That's why I say you guys have to listen to what these guys say, because they tell you what they're trying to do. You just got to listen. You just have to listen. If I didn't hear Donald Trump say, we just passed a CBDC reserve currency, guess what? I don't believe Vivek when he said that Trump was against it. Think about that. Let's go to the next clip.
That's definitely top of their agenda to introduce central bank digital currencies. Now, what is that? How does that fit in? Well, it's marketed in a very devious way. They're telling us, oh, it's the digital aspect that's new. We used to have cash paper, that's old-fashioned. Now we need digital central bank money. Well, hang on. We've been using digital money for many decades. Of course, CBDC is the central bank's opening accounts for the general public at the central bank, which means that you just need to create the next banking crisis, and the central banks are very good at doing that. And all the money will leave the banks. The banking system will shut down, and it will all be in the central bank. It's not just that, what I mentioned. It's much worse because it's a programmable control tool. Of course, the programmability is
Manufacture a banking crisis. Manufacturing a banking crisis to insert the CBDCs, the central bank digital currency. I told you, this is what they doing. You think that these wars cost money. The more wars, the more money, the more the dollar declines, the more that the economy collapses. Not just that, the more fraud, the more people stealing our tax dollars, guess what? That helps collapse the economy. All these things, they not doing it for nothing. They doing it for a reason. They make you think it's a different reason. These wars ain't for no oil. These wars is far from wanting oil. These wars is to establish who's going to have the leading digital currency. Trump is not trying to save the dollar. It's over there's no saving the dollar. Look at the debt ceiling. Look at the debt. Look at the debt. There is no going back to normal. The dollar is collapsing. They about to switch it to the CBDCs. They about to switch our system so they be able to track every purchase that you purchase. Get out of line. Say something about the government. Say something about the fake Jews. Say something about them. They're going to take every penny you have. You can't do nothing about it. They can lock your account, your digital account, and you cannot access anything. They already doing it in China. I showed you how all the homeless people that's laying on the sidewalk in China, they can't buy food because their social credit system is down. That's a part of it. All these tie in together. Social credit score, digital currency, all these cameras that's up, all these tie in together for the total control. The experiment was already successful in China. That's it. It was already successful in China. Now it's to move it everywhere. Look at Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia already started with these cameras and watching people. We already started doing 9/11. Y'all better wake up, man, before it's too late.
It's really scary.
Instant compliance.
And they have said this,
Instant
central bankers
compliance.
have said this, that they can then write the rules and they have the technology to enforce those rules. You have to apply, may I please use it to buy XYZ? Oh, sorry, your carbon footprint has been used up. Whatever the excuse may be, you're outside the 15 minutes.
Or you criticize the central bank.
15-minute cities.
Critic criticizing central banks.
Do you see where we're going with this?
That's definitely top of their agenda.
It's like I said, everything is connected. The social credit score, the central bank digital currency, 15-minute cities, these cameras, all these is the mechanism for total control of a population. It's like I said, it's already been done in China. You can go look at it yourself. It's already been done. That was the experimental grounds. It's go time now. It's go time. Why you think they trying to destroy all of these different cities? Why do you think? Why do you think that happened to the Palisades? Come on, man. Y'all got to think. You will own nothing and be... These people tell you. They tell you will own nothing and be happy. Because they're going to take everything that you own. How, may I? Because everything's going to be digital. Your home going to be digital. Apartment's going to be digital. Your work going to be digital. Your money going to be digital. You is going to be digital. Think about it. But a lot of y'all listen to these politicians and you believe every word they say. This is the reason I haven't never voted. Because I've always been telling people what's about to come. You can go look 5 to 10 years back on this very page. I've been talking about this for a very long time. And now it's starting to happen. Everything that I talked about in the past is starting to happen. Now, if you guys don't wake up and smell the BS in the air, you're going to be lost. You're going to be taken by surprise. Like I said earlier, you're going to wake up one day and you won't be able to access your account. You're going to look at the news and you're going to see the dollar has collapsed. You're going to panic because you was not prepared. And then they're going to make silver and gold so expensive that you won't be able to afford it. Look at it now. $3,000, almost $4,000 per ounce for gold. Think about $20,000 per ounce, $30,000 per ounce for gold, $2,000 per ounce for silver. You won't be able to afford it. They're trying to make it to where you have to depend on them for everything. So if you get out of line, you kick to the curb. So I know it might have been a short live, but I got things to do. I got family. So anyway, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys subscribe to the channel. I hope you guys, leave comments. Tell me what you think about what we discussed today. What you think about the collapse of the dollar. What you think about the rise and the emergence of the Cbdc'S. What you think about them want to control the population. Not just in America, but worldwide. I want to hear your thoughts down below. So